It's only 40 years ago that over 2/3 of the people in Brazil lived in the countryside. For every one Brazilian who grew up in a town, there were two who spent their lives on the land. Now, all that has changed. The cities have grown at an alarming rate. This one's called Belo Horizonte. Like many others in Brazil, it's a city of newcomers. Belo Horizonte means beautiful horizon, a fair enough description of the areas where the well-off people live. But beautiful horizon hardly fits the big factory district where most of the city's industries are to be found. A factory job is what people who've moved in from the countryside are ideally looking for. But the wages are rarely enough to pay the rent on a proper home. To find a place to live, the new arrivals move into a district like this. The Brazilians call it a favela. A favela is an area of homemade dwellings. The favelas in Belo Horizonte are growing all the time as new arrivals move in and put up their own homes. The building materials depend on what people can afford. The best favelas are made of bricks and concrete. The worst are nothing more than wooden shacks. This favela is 25 years old. Ten years ago, Mr. and Mrs. Da Silva moved in here from the countryside. Mr. Da Silva is a factory worker. His wife stays home to look after the family.
Mas eu gostei do horário da parte da tarde também, porque no horário da parte da tarde...
Eu tinha capaz de já ter voltado
Inside, their home is spotless. The Da Silvas are very house proud. They have 7 children, by no means unusual in Brazil. Their eldest child, Vera, is 16. She's been at work for a year. She and her father often talk about money. Between them, they only make just enough to get by. Like most people in the favela, the Da Silvas are a light-hearted family. But Mr. and Mrs. Da Silva themselves are much more solemn when they talk about their move to the city and the country area they came from.
A nossa vila era uma vida muito humilde, sabe? De gente pobre.
Our life there was very humble. There were poor people with not much education. Then, there was the problem of the big drought.
Passou uns 3 anos quase sem chover, sabe? A lavoura acabou, o gado morreu.
3 years went by almost without any rain. Work on the land stopped, and the cattle died. This was the reason we came to the city, to look for work, so that I could support my family.
Para manter a família.
Foi justamente a seca e os filhos que a gente tinha.
Yes, it was because of the drought and our children. We didn't want them to grow up in the countryside. There were no schools, no comforts. We came here because at least we thought the children would have better opportunities in life. We know it's a bad place, and every day is a bit more of a struggle. But at least our children have had the chance to go to school.
Com os filhos na escola, lutando cada dia mais.
And what do they think about the countryside they left behind?
A gente sente saudade, sabe? Mas não adianta. Causa que já passou.
Of course I miss it. But thinking about it doesn't help. It's all in the past. We're just thinking about what we can do for the children now.
Vamos ver futuramente o que pode fazer agora para as crianças.
The working day in the favela starts early. Vera, the De Silva's daughter, is up at 6:15. She's been working for 18 months as a seamstress in a small clothing workshop. Vera told us what her working hours are.
E o horário de serviço, a gente trabalha de 7 às 7.
I work from 7 till 7. I get an hour for lunch and then a 15-minute coffee break in the afternoon. I go to work 5 days a week, Monday till Friday.
Tchau, Maria. Tchau, Maria. Tchau.
Vera leaves in the morning with her friend Dudu. They both have jobs in the same workshop. We asked to film inside the place where Vera works, but the owner of the workshop refused and locked us out. Perhaps he didn't want us to know that he only pays the girls £7 for a 55-hour week. Does Vera think these wages are enough for the job she does?
De jeito nenhum. Eu trabalho demais, sabe? Inclusive, eu tô até ficando meio corcunda.
No way. And I work so hard and spend so long sitting down that I'm getting a bent back. You can't even have a proper conversation. We have to keep quiet while we're working. The boss doesn't like us talking. It's a very cramped place to work in, and the wages are very low.
O salário, o dinheiro tá muito pouco.
Why did Vera give up school then?
Ah, eu tava precisando trabalhar.
Ha! Well, I had to go to work because the family needs my help.
Não tava conseguindo.
There are 7 children, including me. They need things for school, like exercise books, textbooks, pencils, and so on. so I have to help out.
Would it be difficult then to get by just on Vera's father's wages?
It would be. His wages are only, what is it, £8 a week. Even the food bill comes to more than what he earns. So what with electricity bills, water bills, clothes, exercise books, textbooks, pencils, everything like that, the whole thing becomes extremely difficult.
But would Vera have preferred to carry on studying?
Yes, I really would. I was very annoyed to have to leave school, because by studying there are lots more things open to you in life. But I had to stop. There was no alternative.
Eu queria fazer curso.
I wanted to do a course, a nursing course, but there was no way I could carry on studying.
Não deu para continuar estudando.
On the main road that runs through Belo Horizonte's factory district, there are other young people from the favela far worse off than Vera. They spend all day trying to sell things for a few pence. Sometimes it's for pocket money. Mostly it's because their families really need what they can earn. Daily life in the favela is particularly hard for the women. Many homes have neither water nor electricity. For lots of families, water for cooking and washing comes from public taps. Women and girls get very little free time. We asked Vera what she did when she wasn't working at her job.
Quando eu não estou trabalhando, eu trabalho mais.
When I'm not working, I work even more. I mean, when I'm not actually doing the job you're talking about, I'm washing clothes, ironing and cleaning the house. I help out with everything around the house.
But what do people do with the odd spare moment during the day?
Aqui que eles falam muito, toda hora.
People here love talking. Any moment they get, they'll stop and have a chat. Usually, though, when they start a conversation, they get round to talking about money. One will say, I haven't got the money to buy milk for my child. Another will say, I wanted to go to town today, but I didn't have enough for the bus fare.
So what about entertainment for young people in the favela? Is there any?
Não tem. Aqui não.
There isn't any. Not here.
An occasional Saturday morning trip to the city centre is something that Vera and her friend Dudu look forward to.
How much are these sandals?
£4.
That's expensive. What do you think? Very fashionable, aren't they? But when it rains, your feet get soaked.
They both know that at £4, the sandals are way beyond Vera's means. As Vera says, they're nice, but everything's so expensive. So what has the growth of Belo Horizonte meant for the thousands of ordinary people who've moved in from the countryside to work there? For Vera, it has meant going to school, but then getting stuck with a tough job. Like other young people in the favela, she's not optimistic about the future.
I don't think I'll ever get a chance to move out of the favela. Most people here don't get the opportunity to study properly for a good job. That's the position I'm in. So, I'm going to concentrate on getting on well with the people I know. The people who live around me.
Vambora. Principalmente a borboleta amarela? Principalmente a borboleta amarela? E a borboleta se pôs a pensar. Pensa que pensa. Quanto de... Não. Pensa que pensa.
On the very edge of the city, yet more favelas are being built as people still come in from the countryside. Are the children of the latest arrivals going to do any better? All over Brazil, the same story continues. Come to the city, look for work, find a piece of land, build your own home, and hope for the best. In this way, the city spreads even farther outwards, another area of dusty roads and homes with few home comforts. Since Vera's family came to Belo Horizonte, they have always had to face the problem of a large family living on low wages. This problem is going to be even worse for the families who are still arriving, because the cost of living is rising all the time. It's a problem to which the city has no answer.